everybody. This is Vince Miller. Thank you for joining me for our devotional. Today we're in Acts chapter 14. I'm going to be reading verses 1 through 7. Here's how it reads. Now at Iconium they entered together into the Jewish synagogue and spoke in such a way that a great number of both Jews and Greeks believed. But the unbelieving Jews stirred up the Gentiles and poisoned their mind against the brothers. So they remained for a long time, speaking boldly for the Lord, and bore witness to the word of his grace, granting signs and wonders be done by their hands. But the people of that city were divided, and some sided with the Jews and some with the apostles. When an attempt was made by both Gentiles and Jews with their rulers to mistreat them and to stone them, they learned of it and fled to Lystra, Derbe, and Lycaonia, and to the surrounding countries, and there they continued to preach the gospel. Well, here Paul and Barnabas travel about 90 miles south from Antioch to Iconium, and they do what they did last time. They head straight to the synagogue, which was their practice in just about every town they came to. This was, of course, the most logical approach given the fact that Paul was formerly a devout Jew, and the message of Christ was intended to first be preached to the Jews. They hope that they can reach some Jews in every synagogue, and with them, along the way, some Gentiles or non-Jews. And we see in Iconium, the reception is, well, maybe just a little bit better than it was in Antioch. But as always, some resisted and thus poisoned their mind against the brothers. I think that phrase is important to emphasize here because, mind you, wars are not only fought with weapons, but with words. And the unbelieving Jews understood the power of messaging and propaganda against people. This was the weapon of choice within the Roman Empire by the Jewish leaders. In fact, Jewish religious leaders weaponized their words against Jesus, which resulted in his death. And now they turn their attention to Paul and Barnabas. And clearly this was done intentionally to be slanderous and malicious. It was done to damage the reputation and the character of Paul and Barnabas and to sway the perception of the Jews and the Gentiles about them. And this negative propaganda was powerful enough, it was going to drive them actually out of town. Well, fellas, this is the war that we fight today. Mind you, we are presently at war, but it's not like the wars of the past. This one is predominantly a war of words and messaging and information, and it's incited with words by antagonists who oppose the truth. They use words to sway belief, to garner support, to shift the narrative, to persuade an agenda, to elicit fear, to destroy foundational biblical beliefs, and to indoctrinate unsuspecting minds and incite hatred against God and the truth. And when the opposition cannot win an argument by being truthful, they will demonize a person. And when demonization ceases to work, the only step left is a physical attack, which is precisely what happens in this text. But notice how a man of faith responds. He remains in it, he says. He continues to speak boldly. He says a message and words of grace even to his opposition. And then God puts a stamp of approval on it with signs and wonders. Well, we are right on the precipice today of physical persecution in this country for being a Christian. And you don't have to be a prophet to see this coming. But you know what we need to do? We need to do exactly what Paul and Barnabas did in the divided town of Iconium. We need to stay in it. We need to speak boldly. We need to spread a message of God's grace, even when they demonize you. And get ready, because God might perform signs and wonders with you and through you as his seal of approval, so that a few more might believe. Well, I hope you enjoyed this devotional today. I hope it's given you some hope and strength. Stay in it, fellows. Speak boldly, a message of grace, even when people come at you. Share this devotional with someone you know. Hit that subscribe button as well. Leave a comment for me below, and I'll see you right back here again tomorrow.